How about them New York Knickerbockers, ladies and gentlemen? Whew. Man, that first half was a great half. Yeah. Then after that, the second half happened. And man, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, the New York Knicks impressed me big time last night, ladies and gentlemen. Big time. I watched that game. I got to catch the final, 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter. Great little back and forth game. Looked real evenly matched. It was beautiful. You're like, all right, this is going to be a great game down to the wire. And then sadly for the Miami Heat, the third quarter came. The Knicks went nuts.
Real quick, shout out to Neil, who's listening with Sarah. I saw she put that in the chat. So
shout out to Neil, who's listening to Sarah. But the Knicks, man, find out right before tip-off, no Melo.
No, they found out a little bit before tip-off. Really, they found out, I think, about 4 or 5 o'clock that they weren't going to have him.
Oh, I thought I saw him shooting around in pregame warm-ups.
No, what they did is they trotted him out early. They, just in warm-up stuff, tried to see how his hand would react with the bandage on it. Didn't react very well. He just couldn't grip the ball. Even though it was on his non-shooting hand, he just couldn't really handle the ball the way he's used to. So he decided rather than force it, could just be a good game to see what the other guys could do.
Dude, it was a amazing performance, especially in that second half. Raymond Felton, 6 threes. The Knicks, 8 threes in an 8-minute time span. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 threes in an 8-minute time span.
They were
in the third quarter.
Threes. All game long, though. It seemed like every other shot the Knicks were taking was a 3.
It was unbelievable. And they weren't lucky bounces. That's one of the things you got to realize about the Knicks shooting last night. It's not even like the Knicks were getting lucky bounces. It'd bounce off the rim and off the backboard and then roll in. No, they were hitting nothing but the bottom of the net. I said it to Erich before we walked in. Raymond Felton was shooting threes like the basket was a pool.
Well,
like he just couldn't miss.
To go on the Felton thing, I mean, Fife put in the chat that, Felton, before he left the Knicks, before that Melo trade that brought Melo to the Knicks were a pretty good team with Felton running point. They were having a good year before they brought Melo in. Then they traded away Felton. Felton, I mean, according to Fife, he thinks he's a superstar, one of the most underrated point guards in the league. From what you're seeing from him so far, it's hard not to make that case.
Well, look, I told people a long time ago, and I don't want to get too much into the trade that happened back then, but what I do want to say is I told all my friends that were Knicks fans that was one of the stupidest trades I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry.
But 2 years later, it comes back and everybody's happy.
Yeah, well, it comes back now because you go sign.
Felton didn't want to leave New York.
You go sign the key guy that you traded away. I mean,
Felton
Gallinari would have been a nice fit, but look, him and Melo play pretty much the same spot, so that you don't really need him. Wilson Chandler, he's pretty much incognito right now in the NBA for the most part. But no matter what way you look at it, Denver did well. Denver's still doing well. They let Felton go because they had Ty Lawson. They didn't. Yeah. You couldn't. It wasn't enough playing time for each one. But when it comes down to last night's game and the performance of the Knicks, like I said, tied at 53 at halftime. Knicks hit 8 of 12 from 3 in an 8-minute time span. Most important part, though, to me about this entire game is the Knicks win by 20. I had an excuse for Miami in Game 1. I did. When they first played in New York, I had an excuse. I'm like, Miami, first game of the season, came out a little light, didn't take the Knicks too seriously, blah, 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 blah. Gave them an excuse. But you know what last night's game was to them? It was a measuring stick. These are words by the Miami Heat. This is a measuring stick game. We're pissed about what happened in the first game we played them. This game means a lot to us. That to me is what makes last night's game the most impressive. Not the three-point shooting. The defense was tenacious. Pixel threw it in our chat room earlier. Knicks hold Miami to 12 points in the fourth quarter. Awesome. And I think all that's great and deserves mention. But to me, that's the most impressive part. The Knicks beat Miami by 20 points in Miami when Miami took this game serious. And it meant a lot to them.
Like I said on the ride down, no Melo, no Shumpert, no Amari, no Camby. I mean, when all these guys come back, I mean, Melo should be back within a couple days, but I mean, when you get Camby back, when you get Amari back, when you get Shumpert, who's one of your best defenders, back, and I mean, how about the job that Brewer did on LeBron last night? I mean, LeBron still had a nice night, but Brewer played well. I liked what I saw from him defensively. I do.
I told you, Brewer's a great pickup, man. He played one of the. He didn't come off the bench in Chicago to score points. He came off the bench, played defense, good defensive rebounder. He's a great effort guy, and he never ever takes a play off. If that's I think that's the right way to say it. Not only shout out to Christina mentioning how she was actually thought it was funny that I thought Miami was going to win last night, and throws in the chat room, both games being won by double digits. I mean, come on, and she's completely right. Not only double digits,
20 points, 20, and they were up more than that, and kind of let the Heat throw in a few baskets late. It was and the whole blowout came in the second half. It was a back and forth game the entire first half.
It was a great first half. 53-53 at halftime.
I mean, right down to LeBron hitting a three to put him up 53-50, the Knicks going down a court hitting a three.
Felton.
I mean,
it's like, I'll show you.
Yeah, it was just back and forth, and then the three barrage in the third quarter just put it away. It really did. And I mean, where was Wade and Bosh?
Incognito combined 6 of 25 from the field. 6 of 25 from the field. And me and you were talking about this, and this is something I think everybody out there would be interested to hear. Dwayne Wade goes 3 of 13, has 4 turnovers in this game. His plus-minus rating, which is pretty much a way the NBA breaks down a player's impact on each specific game that they're playing in. Every single game they do a plus-minus for every single player on the court. Well, Dwayne Wade last night had a plus-minus rating in this game of minus 33 points, which means the Miami Heat, to give you a basic description of this, the Miami Heat were minus 33 points against the Knicks with Dwayne Wade on the court. For a potential future Hall of Fame player, a guy that's won 2 NBA championships, I believe Wade even got an MVP somewhere in his career, that was the worst plus-minus of his 10-year career. Just a terrible game by 2 of the big 3. Credit to LeBron, falls an assist short of another triple-double. He played a really good game. But simple fact of the matter is, the Knicks dominated this game. 2 of the big 3 stars don't even show up and play well. And the Knicks took advantage of it. They played great defense.
The 2 biggest stars aren't even on the court.
Yeah, their 2 biggest names not even on the court. I mean, Felton shoots 50% from the field, 6 3-pointers, 27 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. Felton and Kidd combined 9 of 18 from three-point, which is half of the Knicks' 18 threes in general. Novak makes another 4. He goes 4 of 9 from 3. They got double-digit minutes from 10 different players last night, which shows a great amount of depth.
Yeah, it means that they're not just relying on the 5 they put on the court.
You know, it's so
and it's
sad.
It's the veterans they've added to the bench. If you look at the difference between last year's team and this year's team, last year's team had a lot younger bench. And that younger bench just didn't do it. And all the pieces they brought in this year, I mean, Wallace, Camby, Kidd, I mean, those 3 alone are 3 of the top 5 oldest guys in the NBA right now. Alone, just those 3. Then you bring in a veteran like Brewer. I mean, you bring in who else? Well, Felton, but Felton's still on the younger side.
Wallace.
Yeah, I said Wallace, Camby, Kidd, Brewer. I'm trying to think of who else was on the court last night. I don't know this White character, but
he came out and gave some minutes.
Hit some shots too.
Yeah,
it was a full-on team effort last night.
It really was. It was a great game by the Knicks, man. And Miami, for how important it was for them to win this game, in the third quarter, just let the Knicks steal their excitement for the game, their passion, their will to keep playing. LeBron James was the only one out there that kept going. It looked like the rest of the team just wanted the game to end. Even Erich Spoelstra just sort of looked around like, oh, crap, there's still 3 minutes left.
Oh, Pat Riley was sitting in the stands, too. He didn't look like a happy camper. They stopped showing him on camera.
Well, apparently he stopped, he legitimately stopped and grabbed, what's his name, on his way out. Spoelstra. He stopped and grabbed him, gave him an earful before he got to the locker room. Pat ripped into him. The puppet master was not very happy with the performance of the puppet, put it that way. Shout out to Sarah F. and Levy. Passing Elizabeth right now. I told her that she should stop by. I should. That'd be adorable. Sarah F. and Levy. She's like, I just woke up. I'm still in my PJs. Shout out to Sarah F. and Levy, though, driving by Elizabeth right now and listening to us on the ClubZone.fm app, which any one of you can do. Just download it to your smartphone. Take us with you.
Or tablet. Or
your tablet. You know, whatever you want to do. But, man, I'm really impressed with what I saw from the Knicks. 37 for 80 in 2 games against Miami so far this year. 37 for 80. That's ridiculous. They're shooting about 38, 39% right now from 3 on the year, making a little over 11 a game. That's 33 plus points a game just from 3-pointers. That's big. That's big.
14-4 on the year now. Now that we're almost 20 games into the 80-game season, now that we're almost a quarter of the way, are you becoming a believer, Dave?
They sold me last night. Like I said, the thing that impressed me the most, more than anything else, was how important this game was to the Miami Heat. And yet the Miami Heat come out and only give you one half of good basketball. And that's credit to the Knicks. That's not Miami coming out and just sort of being lackadaisical in the second half. The Knicks played really good defense, and the way they moved the ball yesterday was just, it looked like they were in practice. You know what I mean? That's how crisp and fast and easy they made their ball movement look against Miami last night. Miami looked lost on defense. Their rotation was terrible. Their coverage was terrible. I mean, me and you were talking about this on the ride. How many moments did you see last night where it ended up being a Miami Heat player with 2 different guys to try and figure out who to guard, and both guys are trying to shoot threes? And he's stuck in the middle and had to pick one guy to go to. He goes to that guy, he kicks it to the other guy, and there's your open 3-point shot. Miami couldn't get around on their rotations quick enough. It seemed like Spoelstra had no idea how to match up with the Knicks. He didn't know whether he wanted to put Anthony in there to try and match up with Tyson Chandler and get a big body. He didn't know if he wanted to go small and have LeBron play down low with Chandler. He didn't know what to do. And it was very, very impressive. The New York Knicks sold me last night. And I hate saying that considering they play my Bulls tomorrow night. By the way, a game to look forward to. Chicago, New York, always a great rivalry game. It'll be interesting to see if the Bulls can, like, for me, this will be an opportunity for me to see how good the Chicago Bulls really are. Are the Chicago Bulls a team that without Derrick Rose can even compete with the team that's playing as good as the Knicks right now? So for me, that's something I'm looking forward to this weekend. I want to see where I consider the Chicago Bulls to be at. But at the same time, Knicks sold me, man. No Melo, and they come out and do what they did last night. I was very, very impressed. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you want to throw out about the New York Knickerbockers, from last night or anything along those lines, but
no, I mean, we've
been kissing butt for about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so.
No. They looked better, way better than I thought they would look without Melo. I'll just leave it at that. I think they are starting to really impress teams around the league. And I think they're a team that you're going to start having to take pretty seriously. For a while, for a long stretch of time here in the 2000s, Knicks have been kind of a laughingstock, kind of a joke. They spend money on guys that never work out. They were the Mets of basketball. Now, turning it around. Changing the culture. Started last year, making the playoffs, insanity, all the nonsense behind that. This year, came in, new pieces, new guys. How would they all mesh? How would they work together? It's awesome.
Well, that's a good thing when you put, what's it called? When you put a bunch of veterans on a team, it's not like putting a bunch of young guys on a team where they're all like, oh, I want the ball, oh, I want the ball, oh, I want the ball. Veterans want to win. They've done their stat building. You know what I mean? J. Kidd is not worried about stacking more stats. J. Kidd's worried about winning. J. Kidd's worried about getting another ring. Tyson Chandler, not worried about adding to his stats of blocks or how good his field goal percentage is. Tyson Chandler cares about winning. Rasheed Wallace doesn't care about anything else but winning.